Day 6 then, and we are just having a look at our trade here. The Great British Pound, Swiss franc, still favourable to us. Long way to go. Hasn't really had much movement today. Did go up a bit and then looks like it pulled back here. So yeah, no movement there. No change in the MACD or the moving average. So no action to take on the trade. Let's cycle through the other currency pairs and see what we got. No signal on the New Zealand Japanese yen, although the New Zealand dollar did get a bit weaker here. I wonder if that's going to be consistent throughout the pairs. Has been on a strong run lately, so a pullback wouldn't be a surprise. Same here, it's got a little bit weaker against the Swiss franc. No signal for us. Yeah, very weak day across the board for the New Zealand dollar here, getting weaker against the pound as well. Looking at the Euro-Canadian dollar pair, MACD getting very close to crossing below zero. We need a big red day for it to get below the EMA though. It will be very nice to see that come, get a dual crossover here, price below the average and the MACD below zero. We hope, we hope. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, my favourite pair the last couple of weeks. Shame we couldn't get a green candle here to continue this striped pattern, but nevertheless, it's not like price has moved far. It's still right in this level here. At the moment, people are very content with this price level. Just back on the Great British Pound Swiss franc chart then. No trades for us tonight. That is absolutely fine. So far, the MACD is doing us pretty well. Let's hope this trade compounds that and heads for that take profit soon. We'll be back tomorrow to find out. Day 7 at almost 11:30. Looks like it was a bit of a wild day for our Great British Pound Swiss franc trade here. Opened here, came all the way down. So in fact, it lost 59 pips at its lowest point before coming all the way back up and now just about into daily highs. This is why we do give it a bit of room to move. Would have had to end the trade if it closed below this moving average here. So our trade's still $25 in profit. Let's roll through those other currency pairs and see if we got any new trades. New Zealand dollar continued to come down against the Japanese yen for a second day, heading towards that moving average and potential crossover. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen coming back down, price already below the moving average. If it comes across the zero line, that's potential for a nice entry there. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, same here. Could come down, price already below the average, cross below the zero, get us into a sell trade. Euro Canadian dollar, we were looking for the exact opposite to happen here. If the euro had come down that much in red, we would have had a sell entry here with a zero line crossover and price being below the average. However, not what we get. Back up it comes. Looking for a weaker euro here. If it can come down, get below that average, get below the MACD. Plenty of sell trade potential for us out there. Just got to be patient. And that is it again though. No signals for us today. Got to wait for our moment. Can't just go jumping in without a signal. It will come and we will hope for it to come tomorrow. We'll be back then. Day 8 and we are back on the Great British Pound Swiss franc. Our trade getting even nicer here. Similar day to yesterday, but not quite as much of a drop. Formed a low throughout the morning, but then this afternoon and evening, much stronger. And it's a new high in our trade. Momentum keeps on with us. Pretty fortunate here. No action required then, so let's roll through our 20 other currency pairs, see if we got any entries out there. New Zealand dollar certainly strengthening against the Canadian dollar. Found a real high today before pulling back a little bit. Great British Pound Canadian dollar, it is giving us that entry signal there, the zero line crossover. Price still in a range here. We can't actually take this signal because we've already got the trade open on the pound Swiss franc. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but still nice entry signal. Be interesting to see if it comes back off these highs here. It might surge tomorrow and come back down. Would have been nice if the pound Swiss franc had already taken profit and we could just keep chaining that. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen pair, another red day, so it is getting closer to that entry signal. If we could see one more like this, it's a fair chance we could be looking over a crossover in the next couple of days. Euro Canadian dollar, not what we want to see. Renewed momentum into the euro there, and it looks like that's going to carry on the MACD well above zero. Euro yen, nothing here, very rangy as well. Again, the Japanese yen not really moving against a lot of these pairs. Euro Swiss franc, that bullish euro momentum carries on there, striking further up. Wonder if it'll be able to break this sort of resistance level here. No signal on the euro Aussie dollar. Need a few more days of upward momentum to get it across zero there. It's possible though. Anything's possible. Here we've got another signal, but again we can't take it because we're already in the pound Swiss franc trade. But you can see here, after this extended range of price here and lower volatility, it's now broken against the Swiss franc in favour of the yen. So that's a zero line crossover there. We'll certainly watch out for how that one goes, but we won't be in it. Got to show some restraint on that risk. Almost getting a signal on the Aussie dollar Kiwi there. If we can get it below zero, not that it did any good over there as it flipped back immediately, but if this bearish trend against the Aussie dollar is going to continue, we wouldn't mind getting some of those profits. So we did have two signals there, one for the pound CAD, one for the Swiss franc yen. The problem is that if we enter both those trades, they might just act as a wash against one another, or if it goes against the pound, we're suddenly down on two pairs with no guarantee that we're actually up on the Swiss franc, because the yen might be the strongest. So it's just about being careful with the risk, although it does take out quite a few opportunities. That is something to consider. With 7 minor pairs, we've got 21 currency pairs to look at. We're in one, so that leaves 20, but then it halves the amount of pairs that are actually available for us to enter in on. We've got those 20 left, but really 10 of them we can't trade on, so that leaves 10 remaining. Still quite a few currency pairs, but once we get into that pair, it obviously drops again. It's about being patient though. If you want to take every signal on every pair, then you can end up going in on 6 signals on one pair at the same time, or just make it up as you go along. We'll see how those potential trades go anyway over the coming days. But this is our trade so far. Pretty nice for the pound Swiss franc. How about another big green day tomorrow? Day 9, and the Great British Pound, it had got to dizzying new heights up here. Really did have a bit of a push behind it. It has U-turned since then though, all the way back down, now heading towards our entry price. Hopefully just a healthy correction for now, before continued momentum. MACD histogram bar has turned red here. Still though, no action for us at the moment. We're comfortably in profit. Swaps still gaining us a little bit as we go. So we'll see about those other pairs if there are any other trades out there for us. New Zealand dollar against the Japanese yen continuing its pullback here. Looks like it's going to be one of the reddest days in a while, and that could continue. Could also not. The Great British Pound Canadian dollar, this is that buy trade that we could have taken yesterday. So far it would have been going in our favour a little bit, but we didn't want to load up on that risk. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, so close to a crossover. If that can get across the zero mark, just one more day of red and we will be in. We've got no trades in the Canadian dollar or the Japanese yen at the moment, so we would be free to take that trade. Certainly look out for that one tomorrow. Nothing for us on the euro New Zealand dollar. Back and forth battle on that currency pair today. Pretty strong sell-off here on the euro Japanese yen pair. Price now below the moving average. Momentum coming downwards on the MACD. We've definitely got some sell trades out there to keep an eye for. Euro pound, another day of selling off against the euro for the pound, and another zero line crossover here. Wouldn't be able to get in at the moment with our pound trade. Aussie dollar having a bad day against the Kiwi as well. It's getting close to another crossover. It's been flipping back and forth quite a few times over the last few weeks here. But if we see a red day, that will be a sell trade. We've got nothing open on the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar at the moment. So another new day of no entries for us. And sadly, this trade not looking as strong. The Swiss franc had a good day today, to be fair. It wasn't that the pound really had a bad one. We did see the pound get a little bit stronger out there. So that could well continue, but we won't know until we're back tomorrow. Day 10, 20 past 11. Not a bad day. It could have been better though. Pound is on the rise here against the Swiss franc. It's the only thing we want, but it did get a lot higher again. Good to see a new high for these 2 days, really getting up there and then coming back. A bit more profit than yesterday though, and still being paid to hold on to this. Pretty cool. Let's have a look at these other currency pairs, see if we can get a signal going. Nothing for us on the New Zealand dollar yen. The New Zealand dollar did climb up, pulled back though, and so the MACD showing more red momentum. If that price comes down, could be in eventually. Pound New Zealand dollar needs a lot of momentum to come into the pound to get above zero here. That'd be a good double whammy. Enough momentum comes into the pound that it triggers this, but also gets us in above the average and across zero on the MACD for the pound New Zealand dollar to take over. Wistful thinking. This pound Canadian dollar trade would be going nicely had we taken it. It's not like it would be all over though. Pound climbing here again against the Aussie dollar. Could be well in with that zero line crossover in the next couple of days. And almost getting this sell signal from the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen here. Let's get that red. Very rangy here. Pound similar. Big moves up. Back down here into this tight range. Yikes. Let's get that euro sell off here. People start buying the yen up, getting rid of their euros. Have a look down the side of the armchairs and that. If you find any euros down the side there, do me a big favour. Take them to your nearest exchange and swap them for Japanese yen. so we can get in this demo trade right here. Love to test this strategy a bit more. No signal. Here's that Euro Great British Pound trade that we did have the option to, but we chose not to because of our risk. So really we didn't have the option to. There was no option. We'll be going okay, a little bit positive, not really decisive at the moment. Definitely not enough for a take profit. Still though, gutted. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, after that rangy time, it's pulled down. Just a little bit of another range at the moment. Anyone in on that one will want the big drop off. Again, we had the option, but we didn't have the option because we got this Swiss franc trade going. Here we do have a signal. It's the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and I don't believe we have a trade open for either of those currencies, which means we are in. Let's just check a couple other Aussie dollar pairs before we jump in on this trade. Nothing here against the Swiss franc. They only give us half data on some of these. I don't know why. There's these 3 pairs right here. Poor brokering, but there we go. And no signal on the Aussie dollar yen. But if the sell-off of the Aussie dollar continues, we could get a lot of upcoming signals. However, we've just got this one here. The Aussie dollar's been going down for a good while here. That was back mid-June. So we're talking 3 months near enough. Let's pull up our ATR and see what we're working with here. 46.1 pips with a balance of $5,081.93. That's more than we started with, by the way. It's a 2% risk on the trade, and our stop loss will be that 46.1 there. 1 times ATR value. Just looking at our pound Swiss franc trade here for reference, that's at 78.4. So this is a tighter stop loss here, 46.1. And so there is our risk calculated on screen now. Just the one trade for us, and we are in. So we can set our stop loss here to that 1 times ATR, which is 461 points. And then we can go 1.5 times that for our take profit, trying to get a little bit more profit than loss for each trade. So we'll round that to 692 points there, 69.2 pips. Very nice. There it is. We can't zoom in much. Let's close down the ATR. Whew, that take profit. Yeah, it's really going to have to find new lows to get there. And this kind of looks tight. It's only really at the high of today. So, yeah, not sure how confident we are in this one. But certainly the signal is there. So that's all we can do is follow the system. Price below the EMA. MACD across 0. We're in. 4 red days in a row. And there could be more to come. There was up here. Now we are in 2 trades, so we've got the pound Swissy and the Aussie New Zealand dollar. Let's just round off the week with those trades in our journal. Here's our journal then. Compared to last week, nothing new to add in terms of the closed trades. This New Zealand dollar Swissy came and went pretty sharp, to be fair, for daily signals. I'm more confident in the pound Swissy trade, even with the weird volatility, than I am with the Aussie dollar New Zealand dollar, because the Aussie dollar has been selling off for a good while against the Kiwi now. And when you can barely see the profit level on your chart, it doesn't feel great. But it is trading and anything could happen with the price. So we are hopeful for both these trades. And we'll be back for day 11